Johnny Depp remained remarkably silent during the defamation trial, even as Amber Heard relentlessly painted him as a monster, accusing him of being violent and abusive throughout their marriage. For months, Amber's narrative dominated the headlines, but over time, 7 shocking revelations turned the focus sharply back on her. From hidden texts to courtroom betrayals and contradictions in her testimony, each shocking moment was more revealing than the last. These stories changed the trajectory of the trial, forcing many to reconsider what they thought they knew about the case and the key players involved. What began as a highly publicized dispute about domestic violence would soon evolve into a full-scale examination of Amber Heard's credibility, and it's these inconsistencies in her testimony that would ultimately undermine her entire defense. One of the first and most devastating blows to Amber's testimony came on April 12, 2022, when Elaine Bradhoff, Amber's attorney, introduced Milani's all-in-one correcting kit as evidence. Bradhoff presented it as the very makeup Amber used between 2014 and 2016 to cover bruises allegedly inflicted by Johnny Depp. This makeup kit was expected to serve as crucial proof of Amber's story. However, just over a week later, on April 21, Milani Cosmetics posted a video on TikTok that completely debunked Amber's claim. In the video, Milani revealed that their correcting kit had not even been released until December 2017. This was not speculation or an opinion. Milani provided hard proof in the form of catalog screenshots and official release dates. The makeup kit, therefore, could not have been used during the time Amber claimed to be covering bruises inflicted by Depp. The revelation quickly went viral, spreading across social media with millions of views in just a few days. Major news outlets, including BBC, CNN, and NBC, covered the story, highlighting it as the first clear factual inconsistency in the case, one that was easy to understand without requiring any specialized legal knowledge. As the trial unfolded, this inconsistency raised major questions about the rest of Amber's story. If one small detail such as a makeup palette could be so easily disproven, what other elements of Amber's testimony might fall apart under scrutiny? The revelations did not stop there. On May 4, 2022, Amber testified under oath that Johnny Depp had once dangled their teacup Yorkie Boo out of a moving car window, making disturbing animal howling noises. She described the incident as terrifying and claimed that she feared Depp would drop the dog onto the highway, potentially killing it. This testimony was designed to paint Depp as cruel and reckless, a man who didn't hesitate to harm animals in his violent rage. Yet within 24 hours of Amber's statement, a video surfaced on TikTok that completely contradicted her testimony. In this clip, filmed during a road trip in late 2015, Amber herself could be seen smiling and holding a small dog outside a moving car window. The authenticity of the video was quickly verified by internet sleuths using license plate geotags and timestamp overlays. Fact-checking website Snopes reviewed the evidence and confirmed that the footage was indeed genuine. Within just 3 days, the video went viral, gaining more than 10 million views across social media platforms. The video became an instant sensation, drawing widespread attention from both the media and the public. News outlets, including TMZ and The Independent, covered the story, casting serious doubts on Amber's claims. Amber had accused Depp of the same reckless behavior, but here she was, smiling and holding a dog outside a moving car window herself. This contradiction created an undeniable gap in her credibility. How could Amber accuse Johnny Depp of such cruelty if she herself had done it? This video wasn't just damaging, it sparked a broader conversation about the validity of Amber's accusations. Could the rest of her testimony be as unreliable as this single moment? The fact that Amber's own actions contradicted her accusations made her narrative harder to believe, not just for the public but for the jury as well. But the most damaging revelations weren't just about videos or makeup. Amber's photographic evidence also came under intense scrutiny. On May 25, 2022, forensic imaging expert Norbert Neumeister took the stand to analyze Amber's bruise photos. These photos had been key pieces of evidence, allegedly, showing the bruises she suffered during her tumultuous relationship with Johnny Depp. However, Neumeister, with his 30 years of experience in digital image analysis, found serious inconsistencies in the photos. By examining the metadata embedded in the images, Neumeister discovered that the files had different dimensions, file sizes, and timestamps. Even more damning, the software used to process the photos didn't match the devices Amber claimed to have used. One of the photos had been edited using Adobe Photoshop, not an iPhone. As Amber had suggested, Depp's attorneys presented these images side by side, showing one image that was darker, where bruises appeared more severe, and another that was brighter and less alarming. Amber attempted to explain this discrepancy by attributing it to different lighting conditions, but Neumeister disagreed. He testified that these photos were not just taken with different lighting. They had been processed and edited using software. The photos were no longer reliable evidence in the eyes of the jury. And this technical breakdown of the images raised more doubts about Amber's entire case. The photos could not be trusted, and if these photos were manipulated, what did that mean for the rest of her story? This technical evidence was a game changer. Jurors later revealed that this was one of the most significant moments in their deliberations. The fact that Amber's photographic evidence was so easily debunked made her other claims even harder to believe. As the trial progressed, Amber's defense team seemed to make a critical mistake. On May 26, 2022, Amber herself made a statement that inadvertently turned the tide in Depp's favor. She explained to the jury why she had written her now famous Washington Post op-ed, which was central to Depp's defamation case. "That's why I wrote the op-ed. I was speaking to that phenomenon," she told the jury. This seemingly innocent comment was a fatal error. Throughout the trial, Amber's defense had insisted that the op-ed wasn't specifically about Johnny Depp, but about domestic violence as a broader social issue. This distinction mattered because, under U.S. defamation law, Depp needed to prove that the article was about him personally in order to win the case. However, by making this statement, Amber inadvertently confirmed that the op-ed was indeed about Depp. This admission provided Depp's team with a significant advantage. From that point on, they hammered home the fact that Amber had openly admitted the article was about Depp, discrediting her defense and supporting Depp's claims that his reputation had been damaged by the false accusations. This moment was a turning point in the trial, and it helped the jury reach their verdict. On June 1, 2022, the jury awarded Depp $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive damages, which was later reduced to $350,000 due to Virginia's state cap. A separate $2 million was awarded to Amber in a counterclaim related to statements made by Depp's former attorney. However, one juror later revealed that Amber's admission was a key factor in their deliberations, and it made it clear to them that Depp had been defamed. During the trial, Amber's own legal team made another blunder that worked to Depp's benefit. While questioning Adam Waldman, Depp's former attorney, about statements he had made calling Amber's allegations a hoax, one of Amber's lawyers asked, "Would you agree that Johnny Depp, in these circumstances, could be a survivor of domestic violence?" This was a massive mistake. Amber's legal team had been trying to portray Depp as the aggressor in the relationship, but this question suggested that Depp might also be a victim of domestic violence. This question shifted the focus of the trial and allowed Depp's team to argue that he, too, had suffered abuse. Legal experts immediately flagged this as a major misstep, as it gave Depp's team the opening they needed to present him as a victim, which ultimately worked to their advantage. Finally, one of the most surprising moments of the trial came when Amber Heard mentioned Kate Moss. Amber alluded to a rumor that Johnny Depp had once thrown Kate Moss down a flight of stairs, and in doing so, she inadvertently opened the door for Depp's team to bring Moss in as a witness. Kate Moss testified remotely from the UK, firmly denying the allegations and stating that Johnny had never pushed her down the stairs. She explained that she had slipped during a rainstorm in Jamaica, and Depp had actually helped her afterward. Her brief testimony was one of the most talked about moments of the trial, and it was widely seen as a huge blow to Amber's case. Depp's lawyer, Ben Sue, was even seen celebrating after the testimony, a moment that went viral on social media. The fact that a simple rumor about Kate Moss had allowed Depp's team to present such a strong rebuttal was a turning point in the trial. Amber's credibility continued to be chipped away with each passing day. In one of the most ironic twists of the trial, Amber denied ever playing the guitar, despite a clip from her 2015 film One More Time showing her strumming and singing on a guitar. The film had been shot in 2014 and released in 2016, squarely within the time frame in which Amber claimed she had never touched the instrument. This was another small but glaring contradiction, and it quickly went viral on TikTok, where users compared Amber's denial to the clip from the movie. The video accumulated millions of views in a short period of time, and for many it was the final straw. If Amber could deny something so easily verifiable, what else could she be lying about? Throughout the trial, these small lies and contradictions steadily chipped away at Amber Heard's credibility. The jury, the media, and the public began to question her truthfulness, and with each revelation it became harder to trust her version of events. The moment-by-moment unraveling of her testimony played a crucial role in the final outcome, leading to a verdict that many saw as a victory for Johnny Depp.